Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Real Time Retrospective podcast. Now, today I was going to tackle totally different subject, but given the events that have occurred that have made me reflect back on my childhood as well as reflect here, in real time with you, I thought I'd take time away from any other concept that I have and pay tribute to both Kevin Conroy and Jason David Frank, whose uh, lives had an impact on my life growing up and have done things in my adulthood that have been inspirational. This may be a very short podcast episode, but I feel it's necessary. Um, it's almost like closure for me. It's my way of letting them be at peace by myself. So let's begin. And, again, pretty short, but nonetheless, a very sweet tribute to these two individuals. So to begin, Kevin Conroy. He was born on November 30th, 1955. And while he was a stage actor, he became best known for his voice work as Batman in Batman the Animated Series, as well as in various Batman animated spin offs, movies, and video games. And we can name them all, of course, can't we? We started with Batman the Animated Series, which evolved into the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. He came back in Batman Beyond. He was in the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. He did such movies as Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Batman the Killing Joke, and he was in the Arkham series, like the first three. And that just, that is an iconic voice of Batman. He was also openly gay, not until a few years to what we now know as his death. And actually, during Pride Month this year, he penned a short comic for DC called Fighting Batman, and about his struggles of being gay and in Hollywood or in theater, and just the hurdles he had to go through just to be accepted among people. And that's pretty inspiring. But first off, I'll get to that in a minute. When I was a kid growing up, you know, you watch cartoons all day. So I watched, Ninja Turtles, and I watched whatever was on YTV. But when I got a chance to see Batman, that changed the whole landscape of how I enjoyed my entertainment. And also, watching Batman the animated series solidified how I enjoy Batman. I love the dark, gothic, but true to life, stories. Like Batman is a human being, but Kevin Conroy's voice added that texture that just, was just perfect. It was soft and comforting when it needed to be, but was gruff and hard when it needed to be. And Kevin Conroy had that range just in his tone. And I remember my late step nephew, I asked him, I said, "Who's your favorite Batman?" And he goes, "Kevin Conroy." I said, "Why?" He says, "It's the voice. It's the voice." And really, it is the voice. And to be honest, first of all, not only uh, did that series begin my love for Batman and his rogues gallery and his, allies and stuff, but to this day, anytime there's a gothic style story in Batman's comics, or I'm reading someone's fan made comic that's a tribute to that era of Batman, I can't unhear Kevin Conroy's voice. Same way I can't unhear Mark Hamill's voice as a Joker or any other of the actors and actresses from that series. It's just beautiful sounds to me. I can't unhear those voices. I especially can't unhear Kevin Conroy's voice. And the other thing is finding out that he was openly gay, which he came out a few years before his passing, to which he actually passed away this November on the 10th from colon cancer at the age of 66. Very short battle, and he was very private about that. But knowing that when he came out and he became accepted amongst his peers, that's very inspirational to me as a individual who has Asperger's syndrome, which is on the autism spectrum disorder. When I was diagnosed with it for years and years ago, I thought I didn't want to tell anybody. It felt weird, but as the standards of society have changed and people become more accepting of those, I've found, communities and groups where people see me as human and they don't see me as different or mentally disabled. It's just you're part of society, and let's find places you can fit in, and that's inspiring. And likewise, he was accepted into his community of friends, family, fans, the DC universe, regardless of his sexuality. And that's truly inspiring. And I wish my deepest condolences go to his partner and his family, his friends, his fans, including myself. And it's going to be a tough road when they have to do another Batman animated series and we don't hear his voice. But we will all learn to grow and accept that person. And hopefully each voice actor comes into the role of Batman, they know the bar is going to be set pretty high. But hopefully they can bring that same, passion to the role as Kevin Conroy had done. So as I said, this is a tribute to both Kevin Conroy and Jason David Frank, and I didn't think, a week after I would lose, I should say, would lose someone who was also a big inspiration in our childhood, but unfortunately, we did. And it's unfortunate. But Jason David Frank, he was born on September 4th, 1973. And he was best known for his portrayal as Tommy Oliver in various Power Ranger related films and TV series. And of course, he was the original Green Ranger, he was the White Ranger, and then he was the White Alien Ranger, and then, I gotta get this right, he was a Red Zeo Ranger, a Red Turbo Ranger. Eventually, he became a scientist, but was also the Black Dino Ranger. And now he has a upcoming film where he's I can't remember, but he's involved, and it's Power Rangers related. And oh man, he also created his own. I didn't know this. He created his own martial arts style called Tuso Kundo, and he trained young kids. And he also had a 5-fight amateur MMA win streak. He went undefeated. And I remember seeing videos when he was doing this in training. He got jacked and tattooed up. But man, Jason David Frank was listen. I loved the Power Rangers growing up, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. It was part of my childhood. But the Green Ranger, I could relate to, because really, Tommy was, though he was talented with his karate skills, he was an outsider. Like, up until then, even though he was under Rita's spell, he was really an outsider to the rest of the group. And then eventually he got accepted. And of course, him and Kimberly had a fling. And, you know, every guy wanted to be like Tommy, of course, right? But he, you could tell watching the show, he was precise and he was well trained in his martial arts style. He made it believable, even though like when it was him, when they didn't cut the Japanese footage, right? But you could tell Tommy paid attention, or Jason paid attention to detail to make it as believable. But he was also an inspirational individual. They taught lessons about friendship and knowing right from wrong, and accepting people for who they was. And for me, Jason David Frank was inspirational for me because he always told people, never give up on your dreams. You can be an inspiration by being a leader in however way fit, and you know that is reflective of what I'm doing right now. I hope that what I'm doing as I speak, outside of work, or even when I am at work, that I'm an inspiration, a positive inspiration to others. I'm almost like a leader of a positive way of thinking, whether it's at work or here doing my podcast. I hope to inspire and lift up others, and do something that makes them feel good. Um, you know, that's my goal. It's going to be a long road, but that's my goal. And unfortunately, then, of course, we found out that on November 19th, he had passed away of an apparent suicide. And I can admit to a lot on here. I've been down that road. But I found my way to get help. And I wish Jason would have found his help, but he made his choice, and I'm not ashamed, no, because I've known of and have known, and I've had family that have known of people who just didn't have anywhere to turn and they had to let go. And it is their choice. But we can't hang our heads on why did they do this? Why aren't they thinking about anyone else? What is it doing? No. They're gone. They've made their decision. We can't bring them back. What we can do is remember them in positive moments. And I will always, always remember Jason David Frank as a positive individual who gave everything for his fans. He the amount of times I go on YouTube and look up videos of him, he would go to every and any convention and give 110% of his time and energy to make those fans happy, young and old. That's commitment, and he was humbled by that. He continued to, you know, be a positive influence on young people with his own dojo. He was a loving father, a loving husband. He may have had his ups and downs in his relationships, but he was a father. He was a husband. He was a father when he needed to be, and a husband when he needed to be. I don't know what went on with his personal life, but from what I saw, he was there for people. And it's unfortunate. And, given both of these passings, in a way, it's almost like my childhood has ended. But I look back and say that was a great, two individuals shaped my childhood, which into adulthood have made me become humble, that I got to experience that and take something from that. and turn it into a positive for me. But I'm going to, of course, link a few things below. First of all, the images and information you saw are from Kevin Conroy's and Jason David Frank's respective Wikipedia pages. So those will be linked down below. I am also going to link down below a very uh, insightful video that Kevin Conroy sent to a fan of his, and it's about dealing with death. I'm also going to link a video of Jason David Frank, though in character as Tommy Oliver. You just seeing him be happy will make you happy. It made me happy. Also, and I did not know this, there was a crossover one time in the DC universe with Boom Comics between the Justice League of America and the Power Rangers. So I will down below. I'm going to link the Facebook page called History of Batman, which I highly recommend if you're a Batman fan to go and check out. Once you find it, you'll find the article on this crossover, but you'll also find other information on Batman that if you're a Batman fan like me, you're gonna just enjoy. Absolutely enjoy. It's one of my favorite pages to go on Facebook in my free time. So I learn new things, and I'm getting inspired to do my own thing. Not solely Batman, but it's inspired me to come up with some great concepts that I can't wait to share with you. Another thing I'm going to leave linked down below is a long-running fan site for the Power Rangers called Ranger Central. Just a great information site about not just the Power Rangers in North America, but also the Super Sentai series from the 70s. You get information on all the characters, villains, etc., etc. It's one of the longest-running fan sites ever. It is totally kept up to date, and yeah, that's about all I can think of. If I see anything else, it will be linked below after the fact. If I don't mention it here, but nonetheless, that is all. And may Kevin Conroy and Jason David Frank rest in peace. And may we as fans remember them in a positive light. And feel free to comment down below on what these two individuals meant to you and what inspiration they gave to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Absolutely. I think we all need to come together at this time. And for me, though I didn't know these two personally, I myself have had to hear about my cat wants attention, but I heard of 6 deaths in my family. And then on top of that, hearing deaths of 2 individuals who shaped my childhood. That's a lot to take in. Again, I didn't know them personally, but knowing of them and how they shaped my childhood, and you hear about it, it hurts. It stings for a bit. Then you take the moment out of your busy schedule like I am now to reflect, to be at peace. That's all you can do. So I'll have all these links below. We'll make sure you guys are entertained and you are looking for your own way to pay tribute to these 2 individuals. So anyway, I will be back next week, and I'll tell you this right now. I won't have any free time really, to watch the Game Awards. But it does not mean that I will not be looking at a Game Awards show. I'll be going way back to 1994. At that time when we weren't as spoiled or had a pretty good understanding of what an award show should be. And we know there's been bumps in the road, much like video game movies. There's been bumps in the road. But, you know, sometimes first impressions are what they are. So look forward to that next week for sure. But anyways, have a good day. Take care. I'll see you guys next time.